I never thought one quiet weekend at my uncle's house would turn into something I'd remember for the rest of my life. It started out like any other visit. Uncle Mike had fallen asleep in his room, television still playing low in the background. The old house creaked the way it always did, like it was hiding secrets in every corner. Out of boredom, I wandered around, and my curiosity pulled me to the attic. I'd never really explored it before, mostly because Uncle Mike always kept it shut tight. But that day, for some reason, it wasn't locked. Dust hung in the air like a memory that hadn't been touched in years. The wooden stairs creaked under my feet as I climbed up, flashlight in hand. That's when I saw it. A large wooden box, tucked in the far corner behind broken furniture and old holiday decorations. It looked ancient hand-carved, with symbols I didn't recognize, and a rusty lock that had already been broken. My hands hesitated, but something about it pulled me in. When I finally opened the lid, I didn't know it then, but everything in my life was about to change. Inside wasn't treasure, or photos, or old clothes. It was something far stranger, something I wasn't supposed to see, and just as I leaned closer, I heard the floorboard behind me creak. I turned quickly, heart pounding. No one was there. But the attic suddenly felt colder, like someone or something had followed me in. I looked back at the box and noticed a faded envelope stuck to the underside of the lid. My name was written on it, in shaky handwriting. That didn't make sense. How could it have my name? Uncle Mike had no reason to hide anything like this, especially not something addressed to me. I opened the envelope slowly. Inside was a letter, dated over 20 years ago. It talked about a family secret that had to stay buried until the time was right. And apparently, that time now. The writer didn't sign the letter, but hinted at a truth kept hidden to protect the bloodline. I couldn't understand it all, but something told me this wasn't just about our family. It was about something much bigger. I hid the letter in my jacket pocket and took another look inside the box. Beneath the cloth lining was a small journal, brittle with age. The first page had a name I didn't recognize: James Carter. I flipped through it and saw pages filled with sketches, strange symbols, and maps that looked hand-drawn. Some pages had words crossed out or burned, like someone wanted to destroy parts of it. The journal mentioned things like the door beneath and the Watchers, which meant nothing to me at the time. I heard Uncle Mike stirring downstairs and quickly shut the box. I didn't want him to know I'd found it. Not yet. Over the next few days, I kept the journal hidden. Every night, I'd read a few pages under the covers. The entries became more disturbing stories of secret meetings in the woods, warnings about people who disappeared after learning the truth. One name kept popping up: Eleanor. The journal talked about her like she was important, possibly dangerous. When I asked Uncle Mike casually if we had a relative named Eleanor, he froze for a moment. "That name doesn't belong in this house," he said quietly, then walked away. And I knew he was hiding something. I started digging through the town's old records and found an article from the late 80s. It was about a woman named Eleanor Carter who went missing after claiming to uncover something buried under this very house. The article was vague, almost like it had been edited, but one photo caught my eye. She was standing next to a man who looked exactly like Uncle Mike. Only the caption didn't call him Mike. It said David Carter. That's when things got really confusing. My uncle had always gone by Mike. Was David his middle name, or had he been living under a different name? The deeper I dug, the more I realized that this house wasn't just old, it was chosen, built above something people had wanted to forget. The journal mentioned a sealed chamber beneath the basement, but when I asked Uncle Mike about the basement key, he said he lost it years ago. So one night, when he went out, I broke in through the old coal chute that led down there. What I found wasn't a normal basement. It was stone-lined, almost like a crypt, with a metal door at the far end. The same symbols from the journal were etched around its frame. As I stood in front of the door, I heard a noise behind me. I turned, expecting rats, or maybe a burst pipe, but it wasn't that. It was a girl me age, maybe a little older, standing there with a flashlight. "You're not supposed to be down here," she said. Her voice was calm, but firm. I asked who she was. "Eleanor," she said simply. "I'm her granddaughter." She held up the journal. My journal. Somehow, she had it. That's when I realized I hadn't been the only one reading it. Someone had been following me this whole time. She told me her grandmother had hidden clues all over the prop, before she vanished. The journal was just one piece of the puzzle. She had the other pendant with strange carvings and a second letter warning of what would happen if the chamber was ever opened. "Once it's open," she said, "there's no turning back." I didn't know what to believe anymore. Family secrets, underground chambers, fake identities. It felt like something out of a movie. But it was real. And I was in the middle of it. We decided to open the metal door. Together. The chamber beyond was dark and damp, with old candles melted onto stone ledges. In the center, a pedestal held a locked box made of the same dark wood as the one in the attic, only this one had a symbol glowing faintly on the lid. As I reached for it, Eleanor grabbed my arm. "Wait," she whispered. "It's not just a box, it's a seal. If you open it, you need to be ready for what comes next." I paused, fingers inches away. The air felt thick, almost electric. I opened the box. Inside wasn't gold or jewels. It was a photo of my mother, Uncle Mike, and someone I'd never seen before. A child. A boy. The back read, "To Thomas, the first and the last. My name is Thomas, but I was never told I had a twin." My whole life suddenly felt like a lie. Eleanor explained that her grandmother believed twins in our family were marked, born to protect the chamber or destroy it. The journal had hinted at sacrifices, choices made generations ago. But now that I was here, the choice was mine, and something was awakening beneath us. We could hear it. Walls trembling, faint whispers from cracks in the stone. A second box started rattling in the corner of the room, its lid shaking. I moved toward it, heart racing. I didn't even ask Eleanor if we should open it. I just did, but this one wasn't a seal. It was a prison. Inside was a small figure, mummified and wrapped in cloth, clutching a medallion. Its eyes suddenly opened, glowing blue, locking onto mine. And just like that, the chamber doors slammed shut behind us. Everything after that felt like a blur. I remember the medallion burning my hand, Eleanor screaming something I couldn't hear, and the floor cracking beneath us. Then light, blinding, pulsing light, and silence. When I woke up, I was back in the attic. The box was closed. Uncle Mike was knocking on the door, asking if I was okay. I looked around. No journal, no Eleanor, no glowing symbols. It was like it never happened, but the burn mark on my palm told me otherwise. I never spoke of it to Uncle Mike. I just smiled and said I'd been cleaning. But every so often, I see that glow under the floorboards. I hear a whisper that isn't mine, and I still have the photo. My mother. Uncle Mike. And the boy no one ever mentioned. The one who looked just like me, my twin. Maybe the box didn't change everything. Maybe it just showed me what was always there. Would you open the box?